Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today's session is a brief introduction to PowerApps. Uh, please ping me or raise your hand if you have trouble hearing me. Okay, and so we will spend the next half an hour learning a bit about PowerApps. So it would be an introduction session. And if time permits, I may be able to show you some hands-on work on that as well. Okay. So this is our agenda, that we will have an introduction to Power Apps and how this fits into the whole Power Platform, features and limitations of Power Apps, what resources and training and certifications are available for this tool, what is the availability of platform in terms of licensing, and we will see a couple of YouTube videos, and if time permits, I will show you a bit of a demo. And we will also talk about what are the alternatives available to Power Platform. And this is not in the agenda, but I have put in a slide for my personal experience or our personal experience of a couple of projects that we have done with Power Apps. And we can take a few questions towards the end. All right. So what is Power Apps? Power Apps is essentially an offering by Microsoft. So it is a cloud-based offering. And it is part of some Office 365 plans as well as license separately as well. It is essentially a cloud-based development platform. And the promise is it is a no code or low code or codeless development platform so that everybody can do coding using the Power Platform. And as I mentioned, since it doesn't require you to be highly technical, so everybody should be able to code, given that the interface is simple, and if you can create Excel formulas and do a bit of scripting, you should be able to do coding. And there are certain things that doesn't require any coding at all. So, and there are certain things that would require a lot of coding. So there are both ends of the spectrum available. Okay, and so it's an Excel VBA based scripting type of language. And applications that are generated without code are usually mobile ready. So your app is available on mobile as well. Okay, let me stop my share and show you this 2017 video. It is about, I don't know, 1.5 minute video telling you the marketing side of the Power Apps. And one. Yeah, that. Okay, let me know if you see my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Ms., you're held back by processes that are manual and time-consuming. You can't find any off-the-shelf apps or services to solve your team's specific challenges. You lack the developer budget to have a custom app built from scratch. Introducing Microsoft PowerApps, a powerful new way to turn business expertise into custom applications. With PowerApps, your team can quickly and easily create apps without writing a single line of code. That's right, the power to transform your business is in your hands. PowerApps has an intuitive design interface to guide you the whole way as you create apps for your team or business. Your app can integrate with data you already have or use our built-in platform. You can build apps for the web and mobile and take full advantage of your device's features. Plus, You can share apps with your team and quickly customize them as your business evolves. It's time to boost your team's productivity with a custom app that's exactly the right fit for your business. Ready to get started? Build your app today at PowerApps.com. Or get in touch with a Microsoft partner to lend a hand.
Okay, so I'm going to stop here, stop my share as well. So essentially, this was, as I said, a marketing kind of video that was telling you all the good things about Power Apps, and the focus was anybody can make an app without using a single line of code. And the other keyword is you can, the turnaround time is quick. You can do this quickly. Okay. All right. So let's move on to Power Platform and Azure Apps. Okay. So Power Apps is essentially part of a bigger platform called Power Platform. And when we started working on it, it consisted of three things: Power Apps, Power Automate, and Power BI. Now the Power Virtual Agents are added that are chatbots. Okay, so Power Apps, as we say, it is a development, no code, low code development platform which allows you to create apps. Power Automate is essentially connectors, a set of technology that allows you to make connections between systems and to carry out certain business logic. So an example could be, you could be taking a Twitter feed or reading a Twitter feed and doing something with it. So you can do that with Power Automate. People who are familiar with, hang on. Sorry about that. So people who are familiar with Microsoft BizTalk server that appeared about 15, 20 years ago. So Power Automate uses Microsoft BizTalk server at the back end, which is used for orchestration and making all these connections. So Power Apps is business application. Power Automate is functions or code that executes with certain connections. Power BI is a reporting tool. And a lot of people who are good at Excel, their next progression is to get expertise on Power BI so that they can create reports and charts and graphs using Power BI. And Power BI also uses some of machine learning as well. So if you have a model or if you have a data, so you can carry out some machine learning algorithms as well. Okay. And Power Virtual Agents is something that is new. That is the chatbots that is included in the whole package. So since the topic of today's conversation is Power Apps, so we will limit ourselves to Power Apps. But just to give you a context, it is part of the whole big thing. And the promise is using Power Platform, you can create an end-to-end business solution. And most of the time when you use Power Apps, you either use a bit of Power BI or a bit of Power Automate to finish your work. Okay. So all the business applications require data storage. So where's the data? So Power Apps has something called Microsoft Dataverse. The old name for that was Common Data Service. About, I don't know, 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago, that was called CDS. Now it is called Dataverse. So it is essentially a small database offering on the cloud so if you have a requirement that doesn't require huge data, then your data store could be Dataverse. And Dataverse is also useful for some of the applications we'll see later in slides. Okay. And as I said, there are integrations available. So since PowerApps is available with Office 365 subscription, meaning that your organization has people, and they, if they are using an Office 365 subscription, they have an Azure AD available as well to manage those users. So the integration with Office 365 suite of applications, including SharePoint and OneDrive, is there with PowerApps. Similarly, Azure AD integration or connectors are also available. And there are tons of other connectors, including all the popular ERP connectors. As I said, you have Facebook, Twitter connectors as well. You have all the other connectors, whoever are the popular systems where you integrate with. Okay. And recently, Microsoft has moved positions and have now started merging PowerApps with Azure. So now they're saying Azure plus PowerApps, and they are adding more Azure functions and Azure logic functions with PowerApps to create different types of applications as well. So this is something that is new and upcoming. So the idea is to move away from traditional development and do everything on the cloud. Not just actually the deployment and the operations, but the development as well. Okay, so this is a bit of background of the big picture of PowerApps and where they fit in the Power Platform and Azure altogether. All right. Now let's dig a bit deeper into PowerApps. So there are essentially three types of application in PowerApps. One is called model-driven applications, and people who have worked with .NET MVC framework, they must have heard of the term database-first development. So model-driven app is sort of similar to database-first development methodology, where you create your database. In this case, you create your Dataverse tables, and you create a model-driven application out of it, and that is the no-code part. So it creates, the application is created automatically. All you need to do is provide some parameters and maybe come up with the layout for your site. That's it. So that's all visual, but you don't have to write a single piece of code, and your model-driven application will be created. And we will see a short video of it as well. Okay. The other type of Power App application is called a Canvas app. So where the traditional run-of-the-mill app automatic application generation doesn't cut the bill, and you need something that is custom, that is different from the application that the model-driven generates, or your database is something different from CDS or Dataverse, then you come up with a Canvas app. So Canvas app gives you full control over what application you are creating. It does some scaffolding and some code generation, but essentially you have to write your code from scratch. There are templates available and there are a lot of resources available, but essentially you are in control of what the app looks like and behaves like. Obviously, the app is essentially created by you, but it is run on the browser. So your app code, whatever it is converted into jQuery JavaScript. So whatever are the features available with the Power Apps, they are all available to you in Canvas app. And it gives you more control. And we'll look at a slide of difference between model-driven and Canvas app as well. The third type of applications are portal applications. So as you may have guessed up till now, PowerApps is something that is available to people who have subscription to either Office 365 or they have license to use PowerApps. So portal is something where which is an external facing website whereby people who are not part of your organization, your customer, your supplier, they can use this app as well. So those apps are called portal applications. So people outside the organization can log in and use your app. It also has licensing implication, but essentially you don't have to be in the same tenant to use a portal application. Okay, so these are the main three types of Power App applications available. Okay, and as mentioned in the previous slide as well, it has integration with the underlying data platform, which is called Microsoft Dataverse, or various online or on-prem data sources, SharePoint, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, SQL Server, etc. Okay, when you're creating your Canvas app or model-driven app, you have or even your portal app, you have your designers available, which allows you to design your form just like you design your form in an IDE, in a visual IDE. And the model is similar to event-based programming model, except for the fact that the UI elements have certain events or certain properties available on which you will write your formulas or scripts. Okay. So as I mentioned, the Power Apps has license implication, but the developer account is free. So you or your organization can sign up for a developer account, and you will probably be given 6 months of access for free with 25 users. But this will extend automatically. So this developer account is free forever. So you can create your applications, develop your applications, do R&D on your application on your tenant, and once you are ready, you can move it to your customer's tenant. Okay. Okay. So this is taken from this Microsoft documentation, and this is differentiating between the model-driven app and the Canvas app. So model-driven app can only serve data from Dataverse. Whereas Canvas app can use any data source. So in our case, we have used SharePoint. We have used on-prem SQL Server, and you can use many other data storage connectors. Okay. Design experience of model-driven app is you don't have to write any code. Whereas Canvas app uses a scripting language, which is called PowerFX. So you use those expressions and manipulate your control properties. In model-driven app, you have limited UI control. In Canvas app, you have full control in terms of the look and feel of the Canvas app. In model-driven app, the app is consistent because it is generated. It is responsive automatically because it is generated by automated code. Whereas in Canvas app, the consistency is low. You have to make sure that you create your user interface and your look and feel consistent across the different forms or pages. And responsive, only responsive if you design it this way. Okay. Model-driven app is rapid development. All you need to do is create your database tables, create your views, and then generate your app out of it. Whereas Canvas app is relative to the complexity of the design. There is some scaffolding available, but if you need drastic changes, or if you want a non-conventional UI, then you need to write your own code and make your own design. Model-driven app migration between environments is simple. So environment is something that sits within a tenant. So within a customer tenant, there can be multiple environments, and the environment would be between tenants as well. So in model-driven app, it is relatively simple to migrate between environments, whereas in Canvas app, once you move your app between environments or between tenants, you need to make sure that all the connectors and data sources are also updated. Navigation through relationships. Okay, so if your data model has relationships available, just like the scaffolding done by .NET MVC, this happens automatically. Whereas in Canvas app, you have to explicitly specify those relationships and create the link. Okay. So these are essentially the major difference between model-driven app and Canvas app. So if I were to summarize it, if you want a run-of-the-mill simple application, all you need to do is create database, which is in Dataverse. And so create tables, specify the relationship, specify the views, and hit the generate button, create a model-driven app out of this table, and it will be generated. Whereas Canvas app would require you to do development as well, and whether it is some development or a lot of development, that depends on the complexity of your application. Okay. And so there are two options available. I'll share this slide and you can watch the longer video. I'll show you the shorter video. KJU, hang on, let me share this. Okay, if somebody can put in chat that they can see my screen, I'll start the video. Okay, let's start. I hope you can see the video.
Hello, my name is Julie Jack, and we are going to make ourselves a model-driven app off of our platform. You'll see here that we are at make.powerapps.com, simply a maker experience. This environment that we're in is pretty empty. I've not other than the generic. So I have a batch of demos made a solution to hold our new app. We're going to create that app and model-driven app. Our app designer is going to pop up. Technically speaking, this is all I need, but let's go ahead and do different icons. That means it's finally done. Now we have our app designer available. You'll see that we have really nothing in here, but let's go ahead and add on our sitemap here. Let's give this a area and item. The name here. Best practice in the wild would be to use ID as well, but in the interest of making it happen quickly, we'll go through some of those best practices later. Let's add an entity. These are the entities that come out of the box for my CDS database. Add accounts and contacts. Pretty much every business their businesses, maybe their people, maybe their vendors, but pretty much all these businesses have. So let's save this sitemap and we'll go ahead and publish it. Then we'll come back and look at our app design right here. You'll see that when we added those to our sitemap, it added our entities for us. It also added all of those forms, all of those views, all of those charts, essentially all of those assets. So we've saved our app. Let's validate it. Going to give us some warning. Again, the warnings are because all of our assets, not individual assets, and that's okay. We can select all. published it. Now let's play it. Here we have a fully functional model-driven application. Let's make a new account record. We'll add that record. We've got the form available. We have more than one form type available. And add a contact record. Add a new contact. Add our new contact record. Related it to that account record. And those are all available to us. We have a fully functional model-driven app in less than 3 minutes. Join me over at 365.training for more details and more learning about model-driven apps.
Okay, so that was rather very short. So maybe we should have taken the 5-minute video anyways. So even though she did not show you a lot of things, but in a model-driven application, what you need to do is create your database tables, your Dataverse tables, and since she picked up the tables that were already created as part of the template. So that is where you put in all your effort. So you put in all your effort in making sure that your database design is correct. It has all the fields, their validations, and it has certain views and forms available. And since she published everything, everything was available. But essentially, you can create your normal data entry and data visualization applications quickly by making sure that your data dictionary is correct, and then you just add it and publish it. Okay. So maybe I'll show you a bit of Canvas app to give you a different flavor. Anyways, okay. Let's move to challenges and limitations. So one of the challenges is that there is no default offline coding mode. You need to do all your development online. So for some people, they would like to code in peace, and then once they've coded it, they will compile it and run it. Whereas this requires everything to be done online. But this is the default mode. Some of you may have taken a Soratia session on YAML. So there are options available now where you can export all of your PowerApp stuff into Visual Studio Code, make changes there, and import it back to PowerApps. But that still is not the same as doing your development in Visual Studio Code. And the first point is very similar. Second point, scripting inline is cumbersome. People who have used Excel, if you have a complicated formula, your formula bar is a 1, 2-line, 3-line visible stuff. And if you have complicated scripts written, it is difficult to manage it, and it is difficult to visualize what you're trying to write. So at least personally for me, this was cumbersome. The third thing is, since it is scripting expression and not a proper language, so there is no notion of functions. And so no reusable functions available, although you can create certain functions on your Power Automate and call those functions and do a bit of reuse, but in the language per se, thus far, to the best of my knowledge, there's no such thing as reusable functions. So you may be writing a duplicate code if you want to do the same thing in different screens. One of the other thing is, since this is all online, and essentially you are writing your code in a sandbox, and the sandbox make.powerapps.com is being maintained by Microsoft, and it gets constant updates every couple of months. So there is a teeny tiny chance that your existing code will break. For example, we were doing some Power Automate stuff a few months ago, where the limit of something was 10,000, it was reduced to 5,000, and my existing Powerflow code stopped working. So there are chances that your existing app, when you recompile, when you make change and deploy it again, may stop working. So you may need to look at it. But that happens with almost all the development environment where you modify your operating system version or patch or service pack, etc. One last thing that is a challenge is configuration management and release management. So Microsoft PowerApps keep track of its revisions. So whenever you save a version, you publish a version, you share a version, the history is created in line. But people who would like to store stuff in their source control repository, there is no automatic connector integration available yet. And similarly, as in most of the cases, once an app is live, then you may want to keep separate environment for live environment and for a test environment and for potentially a dev environment if everything is happening on the same tenant. So this was a challenge. Having said that, for the purposes of this small knowledge sharing session, I looked at PowerApps, and there's something new called ALM, Application Life Cycle Management, which has certain features now available that can help ease some of the configuration management challenges. Okay, moving on, since we are already 33 minutes into the session. All right, resourcing and training. So there are tons of resources available from Microsoft partners. So the second video we saw is from 365 Training. So it's a training provider, and tons of companies that are working and developing Microsoft Power Platform applications, as well as creating connectors for it as well. There's a marketplace available as well, where you have connectors and add-ons available. But Microsoft has their own YouTube channel for Microsoft Power Apps. I've given you a link there. Microsoft Learn has a dedicated section for Power Apps, and there is tons of tutorials, videos, and stuff available, guides available. One of the things that some of my team members have benefited from is, since Microsoft is pushing this Power Apps very aggressively for the last 2 years, that there are virtual training days happening almost every month, and sometimes multiple times in a month. For example, the next virtual training day is happening on 22nd February. Then the same one is happening twice in March. Okay, so fundamentals training is happening, app maker training is happening. And if you take the fundamentals training, it is essentially, I think, 3-4 hours of training. Then you get access to a voucher so that you can take the, put some more effort on Microsoft learn a few bits, practice a few bits, and take the exam, the first exam. And Microsoft has new certification exams available for various levels in the Power Platform. And most of these certification require one exam. So these are listed here as well. So if you take this virtual training, you would be eligible to a free voucher for the first exam. All right. Platform availability and licenses. So as I mentioned that Power Platform limited use license is available free of cost to most of the Office 365 plans. So if you or your customer is already having a Microsoft 365 plan, it makes sense to use this offering and create their internal applications, either by themselves or by their vendors, by you people, uh, uh, on the platform, since it is available and there are no extra licensing costs. But when we say limited, it means Canvas apps are available, but model driven are not available. And then there are standard licensing mechanism as well. If you are not on 365 or you want to use the full range of Microsoft Power Platform features, then there are two types of licensing schemes. One is called a per user per app licensing scheme, and the other one is called a per user licensing scheme. Per user per app means you want to use just one app, so and there are 15 users for that app, so they will be spending a few dollars every month. Every user will need to pay, I don't know, I don't remember, it's $5 or $8 per user per month. Whereas if there are more than one apps and you want to use unlimited number of apps, then you move to per user licensing, which is about, I think, $15-20 per user per month, where you can run as many apps as you want. Okay. And portal licensing is separate. So I didn't go into the details, it's a bit complicated. But I think your best bet is Microsoft 365 license plans have licenses available. And similarly, if your organization has Dynamics 365 license, then Power Platform is available there as well. Okay. Okay, so let's take the interactive demo towards the end. Let me cover the next slide first. Okay, so I want to share two experiences of our clients. So one is a local client that approached us about, I don't know, 15-18 months ago, that they have an existing Office 365 subscription. And they want to automate internal workflows, and they started with, we want you to build us an app using Microsoft Flows. So Microsoft Flows was the old name for Power Automate. So we looked at their requirement and we said that Power Automate is a non-UI only function type of connector solution and not an app, whereas you wanted to implement a complicated workflow. So we proposed to them that we will create a Canvas app for you. And as I said, their workflow was very complicated. So when I say workflow, let me explain a simple workflow. So say your organization has a leave process whereby you apply for leave and you are granted leave. So it will have 2 or 3 hops at most. So the employee is the first hop. They will fill in their leave application and it will go to their manager. Manager will either approve it or reject it or return it back to the employee. And once it is approved, it goes to, I don't know, the administration or HR or somewhere where it is logged. So we are talking about 2-3 hops. Whereas their business flow, workflow was complicated. I think it had 13 hops in the first workflow and maybe more in the second. So we created a Canvas app for them. For data storage, SharePoint lists were used, and integration with Azure AD was done to identify the user, who to send to, etc. And groups were also used. And then in Office 365, there is a notion of shared mailbox, which can be used to send notifications. And we did use a bit of Power Automate to generate PDF report. So since this is a client application, I can't show you that. There is another project that we did where the customer already had an application. I think it was an on-prem application using SQL Server. Rather, it was a PowerApps application, but it was using on-prem SQL Server, and they already have all the licenses for PowerApps and Power Automate and everything, and they wanted to create a survey so that as soon as somebody has left as a customer, so they were selling some software service on a subscription basis, and when they lose a customer, they wanted to send them a survey. So we created a portal app for survey for them, and we use Power Automate to trigger the app and send reminder emails. And this is all integrated with on-prem SQL Server. So these are the two sort of use cases of the work that we have done with Power Apps, Power Automate, and there are a few more, but I have at this point chosen to share only a couple of them. Okay, I'll think I will stop this and give you a little glimpse of the Power App Canvas app platform, because the last video didn't show you any of it. Hang on. Okay. All right. So I hope you guys can see my screen, otherwise shout. So what I've done here is I have created a SharePoint list in a SharePoint site. My site is called Knowledge Sharing Site, and my SharePoint list is an issue tracker list, which comes out of the box as a template. And I've just put in 3 records. What is the issue? What is the issue priority? And what is the status of the issue? Okay, so this is my sort of data store. And I have created a simple Canvas app. So the Canvas app was a blank page. So I inserted a gallery widget. This is a gallery widget where I specified that this is my data source and I need to show this. And on the gallery widget, there is an arrow, meaning I've selected this record. So I've created a basic user interface where on the left-hand side is the list of issues, and when you click on the arrow against any issue, you are able to edit the issue. So I wrote some code here. So if you want to write something very, very big, you can see that this is cumbersome to write. And there is no parenthesis, no start of function, no end of function. So it is, and I think this is new. It used to be comma, now it is semicolon. Anyway, and then I threw in a form view on edit mode. I gave it the same data source. I added a new button, put some code here, and so the idea is you drag and drop stuff, you customize it. So as soon as I selected issue tracker here, all the fields that were in the list were available here. So if I not need to remove some of it or add some more stuff or add stuff from more than one list, then I need to customize the code here. And I don't know why it is called upt. Let's call it update. And let's save this and run this so that I can show you. This is a simple app which can be done about in half an hour, maybe less. So I'm selecting and it is changing. Now let me change the priority to high, updated. Hopefully this is being run in the development environment, so it's a bit slow. So it is changed to high. Now I click it again, it will show me high. So This is a very quick and dirty example of a canvas app. And obviously, you can go wild with the colors and themes and stuff, and you can make it beautiful. For me, white is beautiful. Okay. Let me stop sharing here. And if you have any questions, let me know. Go back to the slide. G, any questions? Okay, before I forgot. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, actually, I have a question that we use many platforms to develop applications and design. So, like, do we have limitations for the development? Like, can we integrate third-party functions and all the things like on backend as well? Is there some sort of availability?
Yeah, so as I mentioned, there are connectors available. So if you want to say integrate with an API, right? So if you can want to get data from an API, send data to an API. So all those connectors would probably best work with Power Automate. And some of the connectors, that depends on the availability of the connector. For example, as I mentioned, Salesforce API is available. So I can create a connector. So let me show you my connections and connectors. Hang on. Where was the app? Okay, that is here. So if you can see here, these are all my data connectors. So I can create more connectors. There are tons of connectors available. These are the common connectors, and there are other connectors available as well. So if you are trying to integrate with a third-party app which has a connector created, then you can integrate. If you want to be adventurous, you can actually create a connector. That would be a different ball game, but theoretically speaking, you can create a connector for that. So there's a connector for Bing Search, Basecamp, Blackboard, whatever that is, Blogger, Box. So there are tons of connectors available, and they are being added by the vendors themselves. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. So there would be scenarios where you would be integrating, and that doesn't require a UI. In that case, you will create a Power Automate flow rather than an app. For example, let me share that one of the other bits we did was we created a flow, or we fixed a flow created by some other vendor where the customer wanted data to be synced between their PowerApps application and their CRM. And their CRM was, I don't remember the name, but they had their CRM, which API was available. So there was a Power Automate flow created by some vendor that as soon as a new record is created here, the CRM will have a corresponding record, and we keep them in sync. So if you want to do all those types of application logic, you can create flows. If you want something that is visual, you create an app. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
All right. So I think I've missed a slide. So let's go to the slide in the meantime. If you have questions, if anybody else has a question, let me know. All right. So while you guys think about the question, so there are alternatives available to PowerApps. As per Gartner, they had a list of about 30, 40 apps or systems. I've just listed down the top 10, and as per G2, these are the top 10, and I've tried to make certain that were common as bold. So Salesforce platform is a platform available which is similar to PowerApps, and some people are hooked onto that and they use that. But at the end of the day, it comes down to familiarity, it comes down to resource availability, and it comes down to price. So Salesforce probably sells for $70 per user per month. So QuickBase is common here, Salesforce is common here. Betty Blocks is common here in the sense that it was here in the Gartner list in 15th, 20th place. And currently, we are actually, for one of the workflows, we are actually looking at whether to use PowerApps or Nintex process platform or KissFlow. So what I'm trying to say is PowerApps is good, but you need to be pragmatic about what your requirement is. PowerApps has built-in stuff for some basic workflows as well. So if you want a leave application workflow or a simple two-level workflows, that can be easily done in a few days in PowerApps. Whereas if you want to do a flow that we did with 10 hops, it will take longer. And if it goes beyond a certain level of complexity, you may want to look at some application that has built-in functionality for workflows. Okay, but PowerApps is essentially replacing the custom application development that people used to do with SharePoint. So those are being sort of retired out, and PowerApps is the new thing. Okay, any other questions? All righty, so I will now take your leave. I will share this presentation with Mubashara, and she can share this with you guys. And I hope you guys have learned something new today. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.